Hello, everyone. We're live back again with our beautiful dream team. Hello, Nick. How are you going?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking, Marie. And how are you?
Yeah, good. I've had a really interesting week, and sort of been able to look at a lot of deeper things for me. So, but it's just nice to be back because I think we had last week off, and
Yeah.
it was lovely catching up with everyone. And my sister, she's actually really sweet. Because she's not going to be here for my big birthday this year, she organised a surprise cake. She contacted one of my friends to get me a birthday cake, and so they did it all while we were out at Tucker's for our camping, like glamping thing that we did. So I figure I'm getting a birthday year, not a birthday month. It started
Exactly.
it not till
Exactly.
October. So
I think we should be celebrating birthdays all the time, in a sense of just celebrating every day. Have something
yes,
to celebrate regardless.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah. And so hi, we've got Dave's left us some great dream stuff. We've got Christine on. Hi, Christine. Hi, Marie. And Jasper wants to say hello. So he's here with us. But, yay. So I was trying to think what we were doing 2 weeks ago, and then then I just thought, oh look, I'll put up, because a lot of people say they have dreams, but it's not where their original house was, or it's in a different place, or they've never been there before. So I thought if anyone's got any dreams where they've had strange locations and they can't quite work out what it was, it's just an opening for something a bit different. So including lucid dreaming and traveling, that's always a good one too. But I love the dreams that are already up there. So should we just get started and have a look at what's up there? Let's see. And I think Christine's put a beautiful experience in, so we'll look at that as well, Christine. So this is Dave, and Dave's been over. Dave, our beautiful Dave, that comes on with us sometimes. And of course, if anyone wants to just jump on the show with us, we'd love to meet you. So Dave is in Amsterdam, and he said, do you want to read that for us?
Yes, Dave's having a great time over there. I did see a photo of him, so I was a little bit jealous because I do love travelling in Europe.
Yeah.
So the first day at Amsterdam, had a dream. Isn't that great? Driving in a car, there is broken see-through glass on the road. All 4 of the tyres have gone flat. Roll the car to a service where they said the parts will arrive on Tuesday. Meaning, relax and enjoy my holiday over here. The universe got my back. P.S. If you mentioned the pigeon thing, it wasn't a dream. It was in real life.
Yes. No, Dave, I worked that out. So, and I did put it up, but YouTube decided that it was a spam message because of a few words in there. So I'll talk about that afterwards. So, yeah, got it. So, okay. So what are you getting from this one? Nick, anyone else, if you want to pop in there, if anything jumped out at you, if any word jumped out at you, or you got a little image or something or a feeling, pop it in for us, because it's really nice to start decoding together.
And we've probably discussed, if you've been watching the show for a while, we've discussed many of these aspects individually, what driving in a car would represent. Flat tires, I think we've discussed before too. A car, the service idea is really interesting one in this. I don't think we've had that before.
No, we haven't.
I'd just be interested to see if anyone's got any ideas that's on the chat so far. Just to sort of put something down to begin with. I certainly feel that the thing that stood out for me was the tyres have gone flat.
So what does that mean for you?
Yeah, look, and also actually, if you're driving a car and the tyres are flat, basically means you're stationary, you're not moving. It could be seen as a pause, a time to stop. And I think your interpretation, Dave, what you said about maybe it's just time to do that and enjoy my holiday, this really was a not, because we give ourselves our own little signs and symbols to interpret. So I think you've interpreted that really well for yourself. And then sometimes it's got layers on it. It can actually mean different things at different times. And you look back and think, oh, maybe that's what those tyres were also representing, something else in terms of my life and what's happening. I love that you could still move the car, though. It's not like you were stuck forever. The car was able to be rolled to a service centre, which I love that idea. It's like we're all undergoing some servicing at the moment.
Definitely.
mental, physical, emotional, everything maintenance is going on. And I loved how the parts will arrive. So he knows that they're coming. He knows that things are coming to give him what he needs. But in the meantime, I love that interpretation. It was very simple. And yeah, I say, when you're, the idea of a holiday is that it's time to step back and maybe stop overthinking things. But it's great you actually had a dream.
To help you with it on the first night. I love that.
Yeah.
And, I find on holidays, a lot of people try and book stuff up and, fit so much in. But I've learnt to leave room for miracles. And that's what my intention is when I go. I leave room for miracles. And the most amazing things happen because the universe wants to play with you. So that's so maybe it's saying, hey, put this away and put your normal life away for the moment and allow something to come through that you don't expect. So I love that. So okay, so we've got some great so Christine's popped up here.
Yes, I was thinking maybe there's a feeling of being deflated but still moving. Yeah. And, that's that other layer that could come in later on. You could be thinking of something and then for some reason that dream comes back into your consciousness again and you think, oh, that's what that could have been. So there's an aspect that if you had a dream similar with tires, that word deflated could certainly come in.
Absolutely. So and this is where it comes back to us personally and what that means. Because for me, a flat tire for me would mean, oh, I'm stuck. I have to change it. It's going to take me time. It's a bit of a roadblock almost for me. So it depends how people look at it. So I'm just going to shut my window. I'll be back.
Okay. And I'm just going to have a look here to see what they actually say as tires in the book here, at Betty Bethard's book. It says here, mobilization. If you have a flat tire, you are out of balance. Pump up your energy. So there's another way of looking at it. And
I love it.
Yeah.
And, when we go on holidays, we've often been working really hard to get things finished before we go. So we go on the holiday and it's like our body goes, finally, I can relax. And a lot of people can get sick or sort of things to make them stop when they're on holidays, which is nasty. But, I know here in Australia, if you do get sick on your leave break, they actually will give it to you as sick leave. So I don't know if you can do that over anywhere else, but just something to remember if it ever happens to anyone. So, and hi, Trigal. Trigal's on. That's lovely.
Hi, Trigal.
Yeah. So thanks, Dave, for sharing that. That's really cool. And it is interesting because when we travel and we're in new places or strange places, I find it's really good to remember dreams because we're often on different ley lines, energetic ley lines, and it can be templating us. We can be templating the ley lines and we can be being re-templated. And dreams can be quite poignant when we're away. So I love it. Awesome work. Yeah. So, and then Dave, then Dave emailed me a dream. So do you want to?
Yes. So I enter in a large living room. There are 3 big couches. On every couch, a different ethnicity group. Went around and introduced myself to everybody. Everyone shook my hand, but nobody told me their name other than one guy, dark skin. His rasta is down to his shoulders and the end of it is golden or blondish. He introduced himself as Magic. I was laughing at it and said, that is cool. Cool name. Finished introducing myself to everybody and the scene changed.
So I'm going to read what Dave's comment, or you can read what Dave's comment was.
So meaning. There are 2 meanings. See, once again, multiple layers I can think of. I'm accepting my inner self, mostly the one that is magical. Secondly, it might be a test from the beings of how do I behave with others and handle strange situations when nobody introduces themselves.
Yeah. And if anyone else, again, guys, throw your comments in because it's really good to get different perspectives. And, if we take it back to it being about Dave, are these aspects of yourself that you haven't yet met on, you've met them, but you don't know yet what they're about. That could be something else as well that's going on. So it could be.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely am feeling that as well with the, not getting the names because it's an identity thing. It's like we associate when we give someone a name, we then go back and think of that person. We don't think just their name. We think of the interaction we had with them. So perhaps, there's some more to discover about yourself that you don't know yet.
I agree. And it was someone with Rasta, and they had the blonde tips on the end, and that's a little bit of an alternate type way of being, like, probably compared to what you would normally do. So maybe that's the aspect of you that you're tapping into more. So yeah, so that would so that's an interesting one. So, and the fact that there's 3 big couches, so 3 to me is a spiritual number, and it's to me, this is an internal dream. Just so the couches, what are couches for? They're for relaxing on. They're for actually sitting there and being social, or sitting there and relaxing. So it's to me, it's saying there's an internal aspect here, definitely. Yeah. And the fact that you're ready to meet them, by the sounds of it, that you're ready to go in and meet those different aspects of you, whether it's your soul, whether it's your lineage, whether it's whatever. So I think that's great.
And what a beautiful name, Magic.
I know, right? It's funny because all my friends call me, like a lot of my friends call me Magic. They don't ever call me Marie. It's always Magic. Hey, Magic. So so this could be your internal magic, exactly what you said, Dave. So I love that. That's beautiful.
That word's been coming up a lot for me as well, recently, in dreams and just in my conscious state. I've always loved it as a word, though, because I've always loved the connection to Merlin.
Yes.
So, that's something that's been very strong. It sits inside of me. So whenever I hear the word magic, it instantly makes me feel magic.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great word.
I know. And there's a great song, that song, it's magic, whatever it is. I love it. It's like you say, it's a very uplifting word, so yeah. So thanks, Dave, for sharing those. That's really cool. So, and I love that. And your second one, you said it might be a test of how do you behave with others and handle situations. And then it was interesting because Dave went on to talk about it in something that happened in real life. And I tried to put it up on YouTube, but I think some of the words in there, they went, nah, we're not going to let you put this up. So I just put a little reminder here about what it was. So it was about Dave and the pigeon, and he was helping with the transition. So apparently one of his co-workers did something with one of these little air things, and got a pigeon, and they were laughing about it. So Dave picked it up and he said it was, really not great, and went and just put it in a corner and was just doing, telling it everything will be all right, just really just holding a space for this beautiful bird. And it's really hard when people dishonor or disrespect, to me, any animal. To me, that's just beyond the pale. That's crossing a line. I've always been like this with animals. I think probably a lot of us are, that are starseeds, or that are, have that compassion. And so I think you handled it beautifully. And then he said, oh, but there was 6 stray cats around, so once it passed, he wanted to actually feed it to them. So look, that's a full circle and transitioning. And as Dave said, he felt he was helping it to transition, and you were. Yeah. And it is, it's just, and I sometimes just send light, even if it's an insect, send light to it and love to it. And Dave, you can tune into that beautiful bird in the other realm. And I do this if an animal's if I've been there, I know we're meant to be with them when we are as well. I've had this happen so many times, like kangaroos that have been hit in the side of the road. We've called the wildlife people and stuff, and then we've had to go because we're going to the airport or whatever. But I tune in. I always ask them to ring me, but I tune in and I go, no, it's gone, because I could see it really happy eating grass in a field. And, and even a dog that I was fostering that had to be put down, I was just devastated. And I tuned in. He was having a ball, literally chasing this ball. He was huge. His energy was huge here too, which was the problem. He was huge and he was chasing this ball and just he was free. And so, when we tune into them, when they've actually transitioned, Dave, or anyone, it's just beautiful to see them in that space. So, yeah. So if anyone's experienced that with animals, and let me know. I mean, I had a friend who lived in a different state to me, and her dog that she'd had for 16 years passed away, and I rang her and I went, your dog, he's barking. He's just sitting there, bark, 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 bark. Does he usually do that? And she went, he would do that when he wanted attention. And I said, well, he's doing it. He wants you to notice him. He wants you to realize that he's still there. She said, yeah, it's like, because he loved the other dog and he always looked after him. I said, well, he's still around. So just tell him you hear him because he's barking for you. so, we can really help people as well just by knowing and tuning into these animals after they've transitioned.
Yeah.
So
lately I've just been so sensitive to that as well. I mean, I had a moth in the house and I was not going to do anything. And eventually just stopped and I thought, was it dead? And so I picked it up and it was still moving its wings. So I got such great joy in putting it outside and knowing that it was going to continue to have its life out there. Whereas once upon a time, I probably wouldn't have paid any attention to a moth.
It's so funny that you say that because when my beautiful friend transitioned, we'd been like 2 years before we knew, we were talking about what would you come back as, to tell people you're here. So, and I couldn't remember what she said. I knew it wasn't the normal like butterfly or anything. And then I remember it was so weird. It came to me and she'd been telling me a story about how moths would come like into her bedroom or into her home and people like the guy would come to get rid of them and he's going, I've never seen anything like this. So the moth would tell her like, you're not well or there's something going on. And I remembered she said it was a moth and there was a moth that was actually flying next to me when I was at Robina Shopping Centre the other day. And I was going, oh, that's really interesting. That's a moth. It's not a butterfly. It's a moth. And then it dinged. Oh, she said she'd do it through a moth. So it's funny you bring that story up because I only last week. Of course. I mean, you've never talked about moths before.
Never.
This week, it's like I just got that aha moment. Oh, she said it wrong. That's
exactly.
I love
just to be a little bit different too.
Totally, just to be a little bit different. Exactly. So yes, it's funny. So okay. So let's have a look at what Christine's been up to.
Oh, hi, Christine. Good morning to you as well. So excited. I've had another gold dream. Yes. I had an amazing experience during a deep breath work on Friday where Source came to me. And then Saturday night, this dream, a river of gold was right in front of me, about 1 meter wide and flowing away from me, outward. I felt like it was showing me Christ consciousness is flowing through me I've messages for others.
I love that. That is beautiful. And Christine, if there's anything else that's come through for you, just pop it in the notes there. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Nick, with that, or anyone else? Put it in.
I get this overwhelming feeling of that gold light coming into my body. Whenever I read someone's dreams, quite often I'll just get a feeling straight away, yes. And I got that feeling. I don't know if you got that same emotional feeling.
I just saw literally like liquid gold, like tangible and almost touching it. And and so Christine, what I also got for you was an image of you allowing yourself to jump into that river of gold. Like you don't have to stand beside it, jump into it and just imagine yourself just being in that beautiful river of gold. And it was interesting because I was doing some work with the not the oversoul chakra, the one above it, which I've just forgotten the name of now. It's not up there. And I feel we're really tapping in higher into these other higher chakras. So imagine yourself in that gold. You're floating in it, and it's coming from right up here. All right. So yeah, I think that's beautiful. I'll do some cards on that one as well. Hi, Dennis. We got Dennis in the house.
Oh, hey, Dennis. Long time no see.
Yay.
Great to have you on as well.
Yeah, I hope you're settling in a bit more, Dennis. So to your place. All right, so I'm just going to tune into this beautiful gold dream that Christine had. See what comes up here, but it's pretty significant. Wheel of Fortune. This card, you're definitely doing some shifting. And look at all the gold, beautiful gold beings, like the eagle and the lion and all of those that are around it as well. So I would say that you're definitely having a big, big shift. And the Wheel of Fortune can be moving from any space into another space, but for you, I was just going to say it feels like it's really positive. And then we got our Six of Swords, which is definitely positive. So it's going from something that might have been a little bit unbalanced or unsettled for you going into calmer waters. So you're definitely done a shift. My love, that's just amazing. Let me just see if this one, is it that one? Yeah, I think it's that one wants to come out. Ace of Wands, we've got a big yes on that. So whatever you've been doing action-wise, it's very, very positive. That's just beautiful. That's my absolute yes card, that Ace of Wands. So, and that was the only one that was hot. That was in the pack at the end. So you're doing great. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Keep listening to your own intuition, to that beautiful little God voice that's inside you. And yeah, let us know how you're going with it. And let us know how your perception of life is, because I was talking to Nick about this beforehand. And I was saying that I'm still getting those moments where it would normally take me till after an event to say, oh, why didn't I do it this way? That would have been so much easier. I'm getting those, hindsight 2020 vision. I'm getting it before I do things. I go, oh, that's the best idea I could have possibly have had. That's awesome. So it's really nice to have this different perspective from a higher consciousness, even around things in our 3D. So you'd be really interested, Christine, to see if you've had a little shift in perspective about things, finding solutions or working out the best way to move forward. So, so thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
That's a beautiful dream. And I also feel like you've given yourself permission to allow this to happen.
Yeah.
It's sort of like maybe part of what you've moved into. And because it's not like you're joining something else, it's within you. So you're allowing that now to come out of you and shine. And that to me is that outward flow.
Yeah. Definitely. And if you want confirmation, like the Betty Bethard's book, which is the one we use, is the gold is definitely Christ light, divine consciousness. Perfect. So gold's beautiful. So and Christine's just,
oh yes, that's beautiful to jump into and keep flowing. Thank you. I've got so many truth bumps from those cards. Yeah, I would too if I got those.
Yeah. So, and it looks like she's agreed with what you said, Nick.
Yes, I've surrendered so much more, allowing to receive more. Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And but that means that we've probably let go of some patterning and some ways that we did this in the past. So, and that can be, when we go through that transition time, it can be a little bit uncomfortable because we're going into the void. And what I've been feeling as well is a lot of it is coming from lineage. We're actually clearing a lot of lineage patterns. So that's what we're here for, We're here. We're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, even if it doesn't feel like it. Which is beautiful. So, and Dennis has popped up. What's going on for him?
Oh, I'm just doing one day at a time. I'll get there. I have all of you with me. Yep.
Yes, you do, Dennis. You have all of us with you. So, and that's why these beautiful communities are so important. You don't have to live next door to someone. You don't have to be able to see someone once a week. We do it this way, and it's perfect because the energy, there's no restriction to energy. There's no such thing as time and space. Bang, the energy's there. So, but if people need love or they want some support, just let us know and we can just go into that beautiful space of love and you feel it. It's all it takes. So, yes.
And we are learning that more and more, aren't we, about the concept of what time and space actually represents and what it doesn't represent, and that it's so instant. And it's always those stories you hear of when somebody does something over here that's never been done before. All of a sudden, the trickle down effect starts happening in other countries and other parts of the world that didn't even know about that information, yet they're starting to do it as well. So if that can happen, the power of it is phenomenal. All we have to do is just have set any intention at all.
That's intention. So, and it's interesting because talking about that and our own power, and I feel we're all starting to recognize that we are these incredibly powerful, divine light beings, and we've just restricted ourselves. We chose it to be in these avatar suits. And so, Nick, do you want to talk about what happened for you with your heart?
Yeah, I was on the lounge the other day. It was at night time, and I just started wasn't really even what I think I was reading or something, and I just started to feel my heart started like palpitating or fluttering. Probably is a softer way of looking at it. And I thought, oh, that's something new. And I thought, I remember people talking about this, like an ascension symptom or whatever. And I sort of thought, that hasn't happened to me though. And then I thought, no, it's definitely my heart's doing this. And then I realized that because I gave it the consciousness or was aware of what was happening, I put my attention to it and I thought, all right, this is happening for me and I'm allowing it to happen. And there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. It's just something that's going on. And I don't have a fear for things like that usually anyway. But as soon as I did that, I actually then owned it and was like, oh, there you are. You know, it's like I can see that you're in there. And then after about 3 minutes, it just disappeared. It was gone.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah.
So in the past, like I remember I was telling Nick as well, like, oh gosh, it would have been 15 years ago before I started doing transference healing. For a whole year, I had that. I had these heart palpitations, whatever you want to call them. And I knew it was energetic. So I didn't worry about it. I would get my blood pressure checked because I used to go around to doctor's surgeries and I knew the nurses. So they would check my blood pressure and it was dropping low and it was palpating quite hard. As soon as I started doing transference healing and learnt all about this energy and how to ground it in, that it was a light body symptom, after about 3 sessions, it dissipated. But we don't even need to do that anymore. You know, it's really good to still keep your whole energy field clear because as we're releasing, we can get a build up in our etheric energy field. But just as Nick said, like you focus on it, you love it, you own it. That's enough to shift stuff now. It's like what I was telling you about with that floater in my eye. I was sending it light and I got the message, no, it is light. I went, oh, you are light, gone. So this is how powerful we are and we need to own it, claim it, really claim it. So I love it when you share stories like this. So,
and I find that breath is a good way to get the focus back because it just happens all the time, but we're not aware of it. And the moment you focus on breath, you start to come back into your own self and your being. And that's just a really quick, easy way. It's so simple. It's such a simple way to do it.
yeah, absolutely. So, and it's interesting because Dennis, I feel what Dennis is talking about here as well, I'll bring up is actually a light body system. So do you want to read that?
Yeah, question. Friday, the noise was so loud I couldn't hear other people. I had to put my earphones on to hear people on the phone, but it wasn't traffic or crowds of people. Anyone else have the same?
Yes. Yeah. So
I was alone and that was confusing. It was the
other day.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Marie's been having this as well.
Oh, I've been hearing conversations. I hear mainly in my right ear, but I'm alone.
Don't you love this?
Can you make out those conversations at all, or is it just more that you're hearing that chatter?
Really good question. Yeah, Marie, can you give us any more than that? Because I mean, sometimes it can be the astral plane that we're tapping into, but other times it can be, if it's just one voice, it can be a message like either through our higher self or through a guide or whatever it is. And so it's interesting you're both talking about noise in your ear because I've been getting the same thing. I've been getting a really loud, it's happened before, but I get this really loud ringing in and then it sort of vibrates and then goes back out again. And then one ear will go slightly deaf and then I'll be really, when there's a lot of people around, I'll be really confused because I can't hear properly. So I'm really relating to this and
me too, because I've been getting that ringing. I'm getting it now, and I've been getting it on and off in waves, and I've had it far more, the increase of it in the last few days again, which it can be a little bit frustrating, but I know it goes. But it's just like, oh, okay, this is happening again. Big energy though, big energies, and that I've always been aware of that through my hearing, but also being really super sensitive. Like every little noise will really bug me. It's just like, or it seems like it's amplified 100 times. So super sensitive to hearing at the moment as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on with our senses, I think.
I agree. So Dennis, look, and what I found actually helps me because I get the ringing quite a lot. I find when I actually sun gaze, it helps. And what I do is I I'll do it. Sometimes I'll do it with my eyes open and just blink them really quickly. Otherwise, times it'll be with my eyes shut and I'll bring it through. But when the colours come through with it, there'll be different colours. It can be a beautiful aqua blue or a purple or a red or magenta, whatever. I actually bring it through into my pineal gland, into my pituitary gland, and then let it flow through my whole body. But I really focus it up here in my brain. And that sometimes seems to settle that ringing down. It's almost like we're bringing through this consciousness, or we've got messages coming in. And sometimes I go, okay, that's enough. It's so noisy. Back off, take it down. And it's dialed down.
Yeah.
So we can, again, just like Nick was saying, we can own it, thank it, love it, but tell it, that's too noisy.
It's a little bit too much. Yeah, can you tone it down a bit? Yeah.
Now, and it does work, but I do find that if I'm sun gazing, it tends to be dissipated a bit more. So I don't know if any of you guys sun gaze or use that to actually help with activating the pineal and the pituitary, which is so important, you know, for allowing things to come through. Also, both of you, Marie or Dennis, have you been getting any burning in the top of your crown or any tenderness there? Have you tried touching the top of your head and seeing if there's any sore spots? Because often that can be a part of this as well. So, yeah, so you're not going crazy and you're not going deaf. These are definitely quite big shifts. So, and Dennis, I'd love to know. Okay, he's written something. Here we go.
I can have conversations like that, sometimes personal ones with individuals. It's really fun to me.
Okay, so that's good. So you are doing that. You're very auditory then, you know, clairaudient, Dennis. Yeah, which is awesome. So,
and Marie make a comment about her situation there.
Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah, she said, I can't make it out, but one is a male. Very strong, high-pitched ringing in both ears, yeah.
So, so I don't know, Marie, you might find what works for you. You can ask them to turn it down, and you can go in and just do that inner processing where you ask that voice to come through for you more clearly and see if you can get a feeling with it or an image with it or a color or a shape or something. Everyone works so differently. So I would actually, I hate the word meditation, but I would drop into a contemplative state where you're at rest and peaceful and you're connected into your heart and you're connected, you know, go deeper and then ask for that to come through for you.
And sometimes I feel that there is someone is trying to communicate with me, but because of the frequency being so high and I'm not able to match it, all I'm hearing is that sound. So occasionally I'll just acknowledge that I understand there's a message there. You can show me in any other way. Could you just tone it down a little bit though, because it's a little bit overwhelming at times. It doesn't last for as long anymore, but yes, so we're learning to merge, I think, at the moment.
Absolutely. And the more we raise our frequency, so just doing things like being contemplative and your breath and being connected really deeply, that can raise your frequency enough. You know, if you want a white light, some people find white lighting really helps, or lighting a candle, or, having a crystal with you, whatever you feel works for you. Raising that frequency might help that connection to be a little bit more as well.
Yeah, that's when I'll burn some incense because I can take another sense that I've got to help balance out that one, and that smell sensation of something I love and I'm in control of, and that tends to tone it all down and gets me back into a little bit of balance as well. So we've all got techniques and methods. It's just about knowing what works best, like a mother would with a child, what works best for you to soothe what you're going through.
Absolutely. So, and don't tell yourself off for not being able to get the message because, this frequency, the consciousness knows what we're capable of and who we are. It's actually probably pushing us to keep raising our frequency. So don't be hard on yourself with it at all. Just go, wow. And as Dennis has said, this
is an advantage.
Yeah, I love it.
Using it to clear something sometimes. That's a really great idea to think of it that way. pushing things out, just helping to push stuff out. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And that's why I'm wondering if the crown, because mine does get quite tender when that's going on. I go, oh, ouch, it's only when I'm brushing my hair. I didn't even notice that. And then it'll be gone 24 hours later. It's amazing. So, yeah. And Christine's popped something up there as well.
I thought of that, Marie. 2 weeks ago, a nasty-looking dark spot appeared on my right arm. I just touched it and said, "You are the light," and keep doing it. 3 days later, completely gone. Wow.
Beautifully done. And that's our job. We can heal ourselves. We can actually clear ourselves. You know, we're powerful. So when we own that, it's amazing what we can do. So, yeah. So I love it. Well done, Christine.
Yes. Yes.
And Marie's said this too.
That's what I'll try. I'd like to know who is having this conversation and what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah. And let us know, Marie, if you actually can tap into it. Sometimes there might not be an actual message. It might simply be the frequency that's coming through for us, or it could be activating or templating something within us in our DNA specifically, I find. So I'm just got the hit. I'll just do a couple of cards and just see.
We have relied on language, and the language isn't necessarily the message that we need.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, let's just see if we can get a little bit of clarity from Marie around this. King of Pentacles. So this is the master creator and works with things in reality. So frequency is a reality. So this is you, your higher self, delegating, I would say, what's coming through for you. So are you getting any read on that, Nick?
I feel like there's a lot of energy coming through, to be honest.
Look at the gold. Look at that gold.
Like the energy is coming in, actually through everyone. Like enormous amounts of energy coming through, more than, it's almost like we're learning to be out of our physicality sometimes because the energy is so high.
That's Ace of Wands again. It's come up again. And look at you, you're clearing. It's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
About an energy and coming through our beautiful divine self, so that's spot on. So Marie, you're definitely having this beautiful energy frequency coming through for you. That's pretty cool. It's nice to get that confirmation, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and the whole time we've been having this conversation, everywhere around my computer has just been sparkles, almost like I've been in a dream state just then.
Magic.
Yes, exactly. So when you tune into it, it's like, okay, now that you've got my attention, it's transmuting it through the body. It's embodying it in a way that we've never had to do before. So it does feel a little bit odd, I think. It's things that aren't quite normal for us.
Yeah, that's great. And if it resonates for you, that's great. But I feel you can do a little bit more with this. You're very capable. Yeah, it's awesome. And I love what Dennis has said.
We are the med bets we've been waiting for. Just have to learn how to use our own powers. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
No. I mean, I'd love to completely skip them and just, throw on that transition phase and just tap more. That's what I was saying to Marie. I think I've learned so much about not relying on the external stuff, just to start doing things through my own inner knowing. Yeah. And as much as I know there's great technologies out there that will be presented back to us, and new ones as well, I think the ultimate technology is ourselves.
Absolutely. We're crystalline beings. We have all the attributes of a crystal, and crystals are transmitters, they're receivers, they have vibration, frequency. It's what we are. We're going from that carbon-based structure into this crystalline structure. So it's a massive shift and change.
And now that you've said that, that's perfect, Marie. I just got this image of being that crystal, and when I get that vibration now coming through as a sound, as a frequency, it's no different to me holding a crystal and wanting to impart something into it and feeling it. Or when you do this and you can feel the energy between that.
Yeah.
So I guess taking that frequency that's really, it can be overwhelming, and putting it back and thinking, I'm the crystal, I'm accepting it, and then I'm going to generate what I want out of it. It's like those video games where people go and run over and grab the crystal or
Yeah.
something else, and it powers them up with energy. So
Yeah.
I'm going to use that from now on. I think that's a nice
great.
way of looking at it.
It is, and once our intention's there, then it starts to happen naturally anyway. Once we've consciously intended something, then of course it'll just start to become normal for us. Yeah, this is something I worked with my beautiful sister, and it was working with, you know, a gold light that was coming through that upper chakras. So, and it was a gift from our lineage, which I found just amazing. So yeah, so that's it's a beautiful, I love the way you've flipped that. I love it. That's so cool. So and Dennis, what else was it? And everyone's agreeing with Dennis in the med beds. We are. So okay, so where are we up to? Okay, so Trigal's just popped in there as well.
Yeah, sometimes we're merely tapping into our own frequency. Yes, that's a really good point. It's something we are not used to hearing. Yes, exactly. And this is where they say a lot of people start tuning into themselves, and the light language can come in, which is of a different frequency. I don't, although I've been known to speak so quickly sometimes that people go, what is that? What just came out of your mouth? And but I actually feel that what's forming now, and as our conversations go along in you know, each time we do something new and experience something new, we're actually helping each other move into something that's quite unique and a knowingness of what we've had. It's so exciting. It really is. You know, like even now I'm feeling really activated by this conversation.
Yeah, I know. And it's just, but it's so simple, isn't it? You know, it's like, yeah, we're crystals, we have a divine being, and we can, you know, have this frequency coming through us, which is actually us anyway. It's just time for us to be activated. So,
could you imagine the amount of work that must have gone in to take this away from us, this knowingness, to convince us not to trust our own selves and our own power? Like, that's an enormous, you've got to give them credit at least for what they had to do to stop this, stop our light from being sparked. Obviously it didn't work.
the other thing is too, and I've had this quite a few times, is what if we created it so we had an experience?
Of course.
You know, so
or we agree to it.
Yeah, how can we call them the bad guys when we've created them? You know, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, going into that whole next perspective? But you're right. It might have worked for a while, but nothing can stop this divine energy and us remembering who we truly are. Nothing can stop that.
No.
So,
and as I said to Marie earlier before we came on live, was just this, I've got this overwhelming sense of compassion now, and it's compassion for anybody, no matter what they've done. It's sort of like, when you understand, it has to be there for us to understand that perspective. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had an experience. We would just be just doing nothing. But
we just be omnipotent, you know, omnipresent, omni everything, and apparently not boring. So we just come down and do this for giggles, you know. It's like, next time, note to self: I am not bored when I'm.
Exactly. And to truly know what truth is and what it means for us, we can't just be living on one side of the spectrum in order to get to where we've got to. We had to have that other side. As they say, you don't know the light until you see the dark. You know,
so true.
Actually, I watched a really interesting movie on the weekend, Freud's Last Session. And it was an interview with C.J. Lewis, who went on to write the Chronicles of Narnia, and his interview or his meeting that he had with Sigmund Freud, and it's supposedly a documentary. And it was these two opposing ideas, and in the end, about them coming in and integrating into one. And movies now are certainly about disclosure of information, and it was so beautiful. And right at the very end, there was a lovely little quote. I can't remember it exactly, but it was the idea of that through error, we find truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that error means the things that we're dissatisfied with, or things that we don't like, or we condone, whatever it is, whatever side of the fence we've sat on. And it's so true. And that's why we're feeling so much more in touch with ourselves, because we've had those experiences, and now we can step back and merge into one. Still being separate beings, still being unique in our ways, but having a greater understanding of both sides of an argument, and where we sit with it.
Yeah, and it's just a perspective.
Yeah,
So true.
Absolutely.
But I love what Marie said here.
Yes, I'm feeling activated too. My whole body feels like energy running through it. Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
That's what happens, when even in the Bible, Jesus said, when one or more gather, in my name, which is Christ consciousness, you shall, have, do these miracles and more. And we're because we're focused on it, and we've got this intention, it's going to activate, just us being here and us and speaking and people putting in comments, that's adding to this intention that's actually bringing through this frequency.
Yeah.
So,
and Marie, when you were saying that, I just had this vision of this energy with Marie talking about it too, that like feeling really activated. Is I had this inclination to always want to go outside when that happens, when I get this buzz in my body where I feel like I've got to discharge the energy, and going into the ground and grounding, touching my feet, or the garden does that. Then I also think, but I'm giving back to Gaia, Terra. I'm giving back to her, so that she can give back to me. And then this cycle. So I'm feeling like instead of short-circuiting ourselves out, we're helping to work in a nice symbiotic way with Earth at the same time. And that's the conduit that we are. It's, we're receiving the energy, putting it back down, and then we get it back when we need it as well, when we feel like, we got to go on ground just to, to realign ourselves.
Yes, I love it. So true. And we're transmitters. We're crystalline transmitters. Yeah. So, yeah, it's lovely that you naturally get called. You just want to go out and do that. It's just an innate way of being with it. So, which is beautiful. So, and then Lady Hawk, I think this is a really good point, Lady Hawk.
I ask for ID, not just anything can come in. ID. Yeah. Always for your higher self, the higher good. Sorry. That's sort of what
exactly. Always, it's for me. I ask that it's always through my higher self or through God. Otherwise, I don't go near it. And so, and it took me a long time to come to a place where now I just trust it. When I say that, as soon as I've said that, just through God, what is and then to me it's fine. But it took me years, Lady Hawk, of going through the ID stuff and putting up, making sure I was in a safe space and that it wasn't going to be some sort of vibration that was lower that would get in. It took a long, long time for me to feel really comfortable and safe with just those words. And I feel as our vibration raises, then the astral plane, those lower sort of little beings and whatever they are, it's like they can't touch us anymore. That's my belief. That's my knowing. It's like, nah, you can't touch this. There's a song about that.
Yeah.
But and whatever makes you feel comfortable, I think it's great that you're doing that. So you're screening. So yeah. And Dennis, says the same.
Yes, boundaries and no trespassing allowed is important.
Yeah. Lady Hawk, that's really interesting.
Bible also says, test the spirits to see if they are true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, and I it was so funny because I've had a lot of experiences with other beings from other realms, and they would just come in, and I would, and at first I'd be like, nope, I'm just going to double check that this is okay. And some of them were so strange. And I think I've told you this story where my friend who does kinesiology, and he was going, Marie, it's coming up that you're actually, she said, I've never heard of this. You're spiritually racist I went, oh, really? And then it clicked, and there'd been beings that had very, very long, spindly fingers. And I was just, even though I could feel that they had beautiful energy, I was like, eee. I was being racist, but I didn't care because I was double checking for me that it felt safe to communicate with them and to experience whatever it was that we were experiencing together. So, and it's funny because I haven't had that for a long time now. It's only ever been like God, who I speak to from here, or my angel, or my family members that have passed, or whatever. That's it. I just haven't had those same visits. So I
I had
don't.
an interesting one though the other day.
Did you?
Yes. And I don't get them very often. I've had them before, but this one was quite unique. And it was just a very short glimpse. But it was post one of my other dreams. So it was the same sort of night I was dreaming of other things. But yeah, first I met the small off-worlder. And I didn't have any other name for it except maybe a small grey or something, but very cute looking as well. Beautiful big, there was something about a beautiful big energy coming from it. And it was just lovable. I felt really just this feeling of love standing there, and I was sort of communicating with it, not with words. And then I looked next to it, and there was what I know is the Pleiadian energy. And I asked the energy, because it was very transparent with that bluish tinge, and I asked, could you put yourself more into a body that I might recognize? So it went from being this translucent body into, very etheric, into a little bit more solid. And then, because at first it was not male or female, actually I wasn't even sure at the end what it was, male or female, it didn't matter. Beautiful energy, beautiful looking. And I thought it was really interesting that you said about not, what you said about your
racism. No?
Yeah. And at first, and then later I thought, oh, maybe that wasn't a really good, but I got great energy from it. And I always seem to naturally I feel like I'm naturally protected anyway now, because I've just set so many great boundaries within myself, just as that, like, not a filter for want of a better word, but more that I'm aware of what resonates with my frequency, and I know if it feels good or bad. But yeah. And then what I found myself, I was turned around and people were coming over and I was introducing them, and I said, oh, no, they're okay. It's all right. Nothing to be afraid of. Let's come and have a chat and you can meet them. And so I was like this intermediary, bringing in people to be shown who they were and how beautiful they were, and what that they were here to help us and work with us. And I just thought, well, that was nice.
So do you think they were like an elemental being? Like whether it's a gnome or some sort of elemental being?
Look, I'm not sure. I actually felt like they might have been a being that was more representative of, had a body. It had a body, arms and legs. So, but I just couldn't pinpoint what it was. I didn't ask.
No, because I kept getting gnome, which was really interesting.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So I love gnomes. I love gnome energy. And I was just going, I wonder if the gnomes presenting themselves to you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now that you say that, there used to be, in our family, we used to have these troll dolls. I don't even remember the troll dolls. Yeah, I do. Movies came out years ago, but when we were a child, I think it was because of the German background. But we never saw them. We saw them as little protectors for us, actually. Yeah. And we'd all have a troll doll, and it was funny because that energy I was getting from it, not a mean one, just a lovely protective energy, very happy and free and fun and childlike as well.
Well, that's very gnome-like.
Mm.
And I found they used to trip me up if I wasn't listening to them. They would actually trip me up. And so it's fascinating with the gnomes when I lived on the mountain, especially. So I love it. So
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
So Dennis has said something.
Just because it's light doesn't mean it's love. If truly of love, it doesn't mind the question, I feel.
Yeah. Like being asked, are you for my home? And absolutely. And that's, exactly right. And it is about tuning in and how does it feel? Because that's your real key, I believe as well, Dennis. So whatever works, I reckon, to make you feel safe and to know that, this is fine. And if it doesn't feel safe, you're not going to miss out on anything. Just go, no, thank you, and shut the door. So yeah, exactly. So but, you know, I just know now with our frequency, the way it is, this is why elementals also are coming through more and more to humanity, because, you know, they got really done over in the past and they had a bit of a issue with humans. But now with the raising of our frequency and this Christ consciousness that's coming through, it's almost like the separation now isn't as great, and they're feeling safer. Not just about us feeling safe, you know, they've had so many dastardly deeds done to them. This is them needing to feel safe with us. So think about it from their perspective as well. So yeah, thought.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we'll just scare them off.
Yeah. So, you know, I love that. But well, I think we're nearly at the end. So I thought I might do an animal magic card today for everyone for the week. And so for anyone that's watching this after the live show, you will still feel the energy that's come through with our beautiful conversations. Don't worry, you're not missing out. And the energy that comes through from the card that's coming up for us all for this week. You will also feel that energy. So, because as we know, there's no such thing as time and space. We've invented it. All right. Just going to tune in and just see which card wants to come up for us. Jasper is jumping in and going, oh, you're going to be surprised at which one it is. Thanks, Jasper. Smarty pants. The Sylph.
Oh.
So look at this beautiful card. So the Sylph is actually an element. So it's the air spirit. So the Sylph is all around our mind and around the stories we tell ourselves and around that mind coming into heart. So if you look at her, there's like a storm going on in the background, or an air like a tornado, and yet she's so beautifully balanced in the middle of it. And the light body, you can see the wings to me always represent our light body, so our frequency. So yeah, so that's I'll just get rid of that. Actually, I'll just get rid of that so people can see it better. And so, and look at the blue. And to me, the blue is that expression. So it's whatever's in our mind, be mindful of what we're expressing. So it's dropping into that frequency of sometimes channeling is what I'm getting from this. So really notice how you're speaking, what's the energy behind it. And sometimes we can go, I don't even know that came out of my mouth. Where did that come from? So because it's of the wisdom. So yeah, I'm definitely getting that this is heart and mind related.
Yes.
So just maybe be observant of how we're speaking, where it's coming from. Yeah. So that's the Sylph, which is an elemental being.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jasper. Yes, of course, there's going to be something related to what we were talking about. So
and Marie, I'd like to share. I had a dream, and I just want to do the concept that I had a dream of. It was so beautiful, but I got to see 3 realms, and I just trying to remember what I called them at the time. Yeah, I saw the awake reality, which is the one we're presently in now. I saw the dream reality, which is to me the real reality. Like dream time with the Indigenous, you know, the people here at our Indigenous truly believe that. And then I saw a surprise reality. And that surprise reality was the first time I've been allowed a glimpse of it. I've not been able to see beyond it. It's like I keep asking, and just sitting behind, I got to see. And what I was presented with was a big auditorium, clear room with the doors open. There was a child in there with me. We were bouncing off the walls, running around, laughing. But I got the palette, an open blank slate of what we could do. And that was the closest I've gotten to seeing what's beyond. And it was like, we decide what's beyond. Yeah. And I thought, this is wonderful, because now I realize, yes, the potential is there. It's just waiting for us to fill the cup. Yes. It's there. That building is us ready to fill ourselves. But I was aware that on the side of the wall was behind a hidden door was a peephole into the older reality, which is the one we're coming out of, the chaos. The people were in there were lots of people and noise, whatever. And then I realized another dream I had, I was in a swimming pool and there was all this stuff floating around in it. And I saw a bowl and other things, but I remembered the bowl. And it's like I was just wading through, moving through, swimming with the flow, pushing the stuff aside that I didn't want, but observing the stuff that was going to start bringing in the new. And I just thought, this is a consciousness. This is a collective dream. This is something for everyone here. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. And it is. I feel we're moving through our emotional trauma and baggage. It's like, no, I've got this. Yeah. And then creating for ourselves. But you're right, it's collective. So the more we have an intention, focus our vision on seeing our world as truly beautiful, truly connected, freedom, complete, everyone being looked after. It's, I agree with this. That's wonderful. So well done. Nice dream.
Yeah, it was a beautiful dream. I did say thank you to who I don't know, but it's just like whoever gave me that dream, me, myself, someone else, whatever thing is out there that's helping us through this, it's thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, well, we've come to the end. So thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Nick, as always.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, everyone else.
Thinking for next week, is there any ideas that have popped up about what we could focus on or have an intention with?
Well, we'll see. I'm sure we'll think of something during the week. If anybody watched The Water, We Are the Water, think about it. Dennis.
Yeah, we are the water. We are water. Well, water, plasma. Yeah, definitely. So, well, if you've got any great ideas, guys, send them through to my email, which is iam@magicmarie.com. And if you want to come on with us, again, just email me and we can set it all up. And it's so easy, so much fun. And we will see you next week. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.